What's going on? VladKilljoy back again. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 picks for FNCS for NA East and NA West and who's going to win it all come this Sunday. Let's get right into it. All right, starting things off with NA East, my first pick, we got Miro and Bugha. Now, they are the last season's FNCS champions, so no wonder anybody would pick them, right? Can they take it back to back? We've seen it plenty of times with other winners of FNCS, and they have uncontested chonkers. Chonkers is a really good spot because it has a bunch of chuck splashes, a bunch of coolers all over the places for a ton of shields and white HP. Unfortunately, they won't have the Lambos with the chonker tires on them because cars did get vaulted in this past update, but Bugha and Miro have shown that they do not need the vehicles to rotate. Now, the only thing with them being uncontested is going to be Surge. But honestly, I don't think Surge is going to be an issue for them because over in Condo Canyon, they have Threats and Rise, Golden, and Fable Taco. They are actually contested right there at Condo Canyon. So as long as Bugha and Miro can loot up quick enough before Threats and Rise finish up the fight there, they could possibly push over there and third party them, or even finish up the fight between whoever wins that and Asian Jeff and Oliver OG. Asian Jeff and Oliver OG might actually push north towards Clicks and Day and try to get their Storm Surge on them. Just all depends on how the zone pulls, really. Also, Miro and Bugha have really good placements in duo cash cups, having a 2nd place, a 3rd place, a 5th place, and a 29th place. So FNCS really looks good for them. Next on my list is going to be Degen and Iamzo. Now, Iamzo has been popping off here lately, let me tell you. So in duo cash cups alone, they have a 14th, a 3rd, a 2nd, a 13th, 26th, 11th, 24th, and a 23rd. That's in duo cash cups. Iamzo on solo cash cups has 3 first place, a 3rd, and a 5th. Additionally, on top of all these good placements, they also have Uncon top of Covert, which we already have seen how well they can do up there, even without the IO car. It's a fantastic spot to get your Surge. There's plenty of shields, plenty of white HP up there, plenty of rotations with the cannons as well, launch pads, plenty of metal. They're on top of pretty much everything right there. So Surge is not going to be an issue, especially when you have so many teams around them inside of actual Covert. And if the zone ends up pulling south, then you got all the north teams that are going to be traveling down right by Covert, trying to use the blimp to rotate. They've been placing really well in all the other tournaments, and they've been doing fantastic so far here in FNCS. So I really do not doubt seeing them in the top 5, if not taking it home 100%. Speaking of a team that's been doing really well is Cold and Scented. Now with their duo cash cups, they have a 16th place, a 1st place, 36, another 1st, another 36, 14th, 16th, 26th, 30th, and they came in 5th in the last FNCS. They are currently dropping Fortress uncontested. This is actually pretty good because now you have Sloan that's moved out towards the Collider. So you have 1 IO there that you have to worry about, which shouldn't be too difficult for them. And there's like 5 or 6 IO chests in there, giving them pretty good loadouts along with decent amount of heals. There's that community launch pad right outside, along with a cannon to rotate. And they should be able to get pretty easy Surge from over at the Collider before heading out of the Fortress. If not, looking over at Muzz and Avery over at Covert Canyon, Surge shouldn't be an issue for them by any means, but we'll just have to see. Another team that y'all might be familiar with is Stretch and Commandment. Stretch and Commandment, along with Cold and Scented, I've rooted for these guys ever since the beginning when they were all trioed up and it was like 2nd place curse. It's going to be interesting to see if one of these 2 teams actually do take it home and one of them comes in 2nd place. But with Stretch and Commandment, their duo cash cup placements, there was only 1 that I seen, so I guess they're not really playing a lot of cash cups together, at least. And that was a 119th, so not too great there, but they did come in 8th overall in the last FNCS, and they ended up coming in second in Qual 2 to actually be able to go into the finals. The only thing that worries me about Stretch and Commandment is that they are conned at Coney with Bizzle and Diego and Death and Tabney. Coney's really not that big of a place to have 3 duos going there. You can bet that there's going to be a fight that breaks out at Coney. Someone is not going to make it off spawn. And honestly, I couldn't tell you who it is. I don't know who's going to go down. It could be one of the 3 each game. Who knows? But what I do know is as long as Stretch and Commandment can make it off spawn, they should be able to make it to end game pretty consistently and be up in that top 5 as long as they do not die off spawn. That is the only thing that kind of worries me about this pick in my top 5 here. They're a solid team. They fight well together, and I believe that they could honestly take it home, if not be in that top 5. Now, my last pick for NA East is going to have to be Dubs and Mega. Now, they might not be everybody's pick, and they might not even have that decent of placements in the Cash Cups. But the fact that they've been duoing together since before World Cup and still duoing together now, that is why I'm rooting for them. They got that chemistry probably better than anybody else. But as far as their placements go, duo Cash Cups, they have a 12th place, a 6th place, 13th, 37th, and a 58th. They are dropping uncontested Shifty Shafts, which is actually a pretty good surge spot, especially with so many teams dropping in the north side of the map. They should be able to have sight lines on quite a few people. It's just going to be hit or miss with the loot coming out of Shifty, though. That's the thing that worries me about that drop spot in particular. Hey, they've been dropping there all season, and it's done well for them apparently since they're here in the finals. I'm hoping to see them at least in the top 5, if not finally win one, you know? All right, moving on to NA West, and I feel like everyone knows who to expect here. So I'm going to go ahead and name off the one that people really aren't going to expect because the other ones are obvious, okay? So the first one I have is Vanillas and Wavy Jacobs. They've had a few top 25s in duo Cash Cups, but not many tournaments outside of FNCS. It looks like they are dropping South Sanctuary split drop, and of course they're going to be uncontested. Now, I really haven't been paying that much attention to them in FNCS simply for the fact that, you know, Wavy has been changing his name like every other week, so it's been kind of difficult for me to kind of keep up with them. They do have that gas station just north of them that a lot of people like to rotate into, especially from like the Joneses, so maybe they can get like an early game fight there. Probably do all right. We'll just have to keep an eye on them this weekend and see exactly where they're going to go and how the games kind of play out for them. See if they change anything up halfway through. Next one on my list is going to be Batman Booga and Wheels. Now for duo placements, they've got a 6th, a 13th, and a 51st. Batman Booga in solo Cash Cups has a 16th, a 17th, and a 1st. Their placements aren't that bad. Batman Booga is definitely climbing up the charts. He's doing fantastic as an IGL. They also have top of covert uncon. So, I mean, what more can you ask for? We already seen it work out fantastic for Degen and Iamzo over on East. And I feel like Batman Booga and Wheels are doing pretty much the same strategy up there. They're hitting the scan, making sure that there's no one around them, getting their metal, getting their brick, grabbing all the heals that they can, and then just sitting on top up there and getting their storm surge tags, and then rotating with either the launch pad or the cannon when they absolutely have to. And sometimes they might get lucky and get that western, you know, zone pools and be able to sit up there for more than one zone. So definitely going to be able to see these two in the top 5. I'll probably say 4 out of 5 of my picks for NA West will be in the top 5. One of these are going to take it home, guaranteed. I don't know which one. It's honestly a toss-up. They're all really good, but I guaranteed you 4 out of these 5 picks are going to be in the top 5. With that being said, let's move on to last season's FNCS winners. and that's Fabs and Snacky. Fabs and Snacky, they have a 10th, 19th, 22nd, 1st, and 13th in Duo Cash Cups. And like I mentioned, they are last season's FNCS winners. The only thing that worries me about them is that they are dropping Loot Lake / Collider. And even though the Collider is a really good drop spot and it has that 100% supply drop spawn right there by the walls, so they're guaranteed a launch pad. They've got the Collider to rotate with. They've got cannons around the area, plenty of launch pads. There's a ton of IO chests, a lot of metal. I mean, it's a pretty good location, but with it being so centered and you having teams like Iamzo, you having teams like Batman Booga and Wheels over at Covert that can easily get shots on you over at Collider. It just worries me a little bit because you also have Arkham and Epic Whale landing over at Coney, who can easily rotate into you, which, let's be honest, if you're having to go up against them and they are playing serious, that's like a lost fight. But most of the time, I want to say Arkham and Epic Whale normally come out on top. Kind of worried about that, you know, new POI. How much time have you had to practice with it? I just talked about them for a little bit, but let's get on to their placements. And that's Arkham and Epic Whale. Of course, right? Who wouldn't pick the 6-time FNCS champions? There's a reason why they've won so many. They're just that good. When they want to show up and play, that's what they do. They are so good, they can literally throw their qualifiers, go into semis, play every single round of semis, and then win the last game to qualify them into the finals. And you can see, even from their Duo Cash Cup performances, that shows it as well. They have 2 4ths, a 41st, a 2nd, a 1st, a 2nd, 13th, 7th, and a 2nd. So I mean, they've got a 40% chance of getting 2nd in Duo Cash Cups. Definitely going to be a fun team to keep your eye on. And like I said, they are dropping Coney uncontested. And honestly, can you blame anybody for not wanting to contest them at Coney? So definitely, I could see Arkham and Epic Whale finally coming back and taking back the throne from Fabs and Snacky and making it that 7 times FNCS champions, if they don't get griefed by the next team on my list, next and last team on my list, and that's Reet and Rex. They were the ones to dethrone Arkham and Epic Whale the first time. And I mean, their duo placements really aren't that bad either. You got a 14th, a 1st, a 6th, a 2nd, and a 1st with uncontested greasy drop. Luckily, they are kind of on the complete opposite side of the map. You know, if the zone pulls south or if the zone pulls north, one of them could have a favorable position on the other one. They're amazing fighters along with Arkham and Epic Whale. It's just going to be a fantastic show on NA West. There's no telling who's going to take it. 1 out of this top 5 will be in first. 3 of the other 4 are probably going to be in the top 5. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like. I've done a bunch of research on trying to get this list together, finding out where people drop, placements. I would really appreciate it if you hit that like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video, all right? Bye.